Today, I'm here to talk to you about a particular issue that's a passion of mine. And seeing that since most of you are educators, it's a passion that you share with me. But folks, we have an issue. Our system today in the US of A, and also in many, many places, is broken and sadly broke. So we have to do something about it. I'm here to share with you what I believe we can do about it. This issue is not new. Mark Twain talked about it. And sadly, it's still true. In the 21st century, it's still true. I live in Silicon Valley. You know, usually I come in with a big backpack that kids wear. I couldn't carry it across from the East Coast, the West Coast. So, you know, we go to work with a little iPhone or little, you know, how many of you came with big back or go to work with big backpacks, sorry. But I would say that most of you don't. Most of you go to work very light. Why are we subjecting our kids to that? Really, in my humble opinion, one of the fundamental issues that we are facing is this. I think textbooks, they are rigid, they're outdated, and I'm sure I'm not telling anyone here anything new. And of course, we also know that they're expensive. K12 is a non-profit foundation. Its mission is to provide a new way of providing information for our children. We want to move away from textbooks. How do we propose we do that? You may have already heard. We propose that we make these flexbooks. Flexbooks are nothing more than flexible textbooks. That's a new concept. The way today we have the luxury of having all these technologies that are available to us that, you know, give us the right to do all this, give us the methods to do all this to make our textbooks be flexible. These textbooks, these flexbooks, are flexible and can be kept current. And they don't have to cost as much. You know, we are trying not to recognize the fact that this generation, actually my parents never recognized that my generation was different than their generation. And so we don't recognize that our children's generation is, you know, different from our generation. They're digital natives. They're doing nothing. A textbook just doesn't hold their attention. If you look at the new Kaiser study, I mean, there have been many studies that I'm sure most of you have been following. The new Kaiser Family Foundation came out with a study that says a student today age group of 8 to 18, spend about 10.45, it may be 10.54, get it mixed up, hours a day on mobile technologies. And we are not taking advantage of that fact. So when I talked about textbooks becoming flexbooks, what are some of the things that that need to happen? In K12 education, I found that it's very traditional, organization. It's very difficult to move mindsets away from the way they are today. So I thought to myself, what if we could provide them with things that they are familiar with? the format that they're familiar with so that it's not such a big stretch. So what we've done is provided you, the teachers, and the students, the ability to get what you need. And you can print it out. I also recognize that not every student, I think higher ed, to some extent, you have 90% of the students or more having computers or laptops in their, have their own laptops. But in K12, I live in my office is in Palo Alto. Palo Alto students are very different than East Palo Alto students. East Palo Alto students don't have a computer each. Palo Alto students fall asleep with the computer on their laps. So keeping that in mind, I think we have to provide them an ability to be able to get printed matter as well as the technology. I believe in technology, but we also have to be realistic. These books, can we always, the story of Pluto? Pluto was a planet. It's not a planet anymore. My son's textbook says Pluto is a planet. There's nothing these textbooks say, especially if you think about physics. High school physics books don't have the latest technologies. They stop at cathode ray tube. We should be able to do this. We should be able to provide them with new topics, and as new things happen, we should be able to provide them as text material, as core material. I'm a big fan of open culture, and so I decided that this project was going to follow the open culture. K12 has a huge problem, which is that it is a regulated sector. I can understand why it's regulated, because you have to teach these children in a context. They have to be able to understand motion before they can understand velocity, before they can understand acceleration. So we have to be mindful, at least for the K12 students, that we should be able to provide them that context. So we have to recognize that the 50 states have 50 different requirements, and publishers just can't afford to print 50 different versions of each textbook. They have to be, we can actually customize our textbooks not only for the students' needs, but also for teachers' lesson plans. It's really important for teachers. Have you seen the teacher editions? They're huge. There's no way you can move it from the desk to anywhere else or wherever they might be. I see some nodding heads. Those are huge books. And I don't see why they need to be. You can easily put teacher notes in context of where the content is, rather than separate. Oh, I've got to go look at my notes. So you go running, looking at your note how to teach that. Teacher is a lonely figure in the classroom, at least for K12. And if we can provide them instant information so that they can rely on that to teach, the culture of collaboration, if you can provide them that collaboration in their own classroom, I think it'll make a lot of difference. Customized to students, customized to styles of learning. So customized to styles of learning, we always hear about students, what they need, but we've never done anything about it. This is the first time we allow, or we can make it possible for all teachers, and even students and even parents, to get content that suits their own student and that suits the student. So we've given that capability in Flexbooks. This has been our mission, and we are still trying to now. Some of these things that are going to come up are going to be our future promise to people. We are going to start making living books. A living book online will be text plus multimedia, illustration, media. You can have videos, you can have all kind of alternative methods of teaching and learning for students in one place. You know, when I went to school, I had the rote, kill, and drill. Yet when I went to, I came here, I became a molecular biologist, and I then couldn't be, you know, radioactivity and pregnancy don't go together. So I gave up molecular biology, and obviously, like a good Indian mother, I said, what can I give my kids? Of course, I love them, and we have a safe home and loving home. Education was the answer. And to be able to do that, I said, I've got to find a great school. Now, my kids are pretty good students, particularly my son. But a school couldn't take care of his needs. It was that moment I realized, you know, it's not just the advanced students that we need to take care of. It's actually the kids that are being left behind that we need to take care of. You know, there's no difference. If we can provide one place and the kids can go on their own pace. You know, the English language learner student is not dumb. What they're not learning is in context, in place, in real time, the meaning of a concept which they could understand if they had their own language. So we can provide online one page in English, one page in Spanish, one page in Chinese, one page in Arabic. You know, you can provide those very easily. You couldn't do it in a textbook. You can even provide for another group of children that are, you know, difficult to provide for. The kids that are handicapped for some reason or the other. So we can provide all that. We are working on all these issues so that we can provide all this for them. Teachers are struggling, and I already talked a bit about this. Teachers are really struggling. They are barely able to keep their head above water because of standardized testing, because of all the requirements. You know, I've gone to many schools, and I've talked to teachers and said, hey, what do you need? None of the textbooks. And they, you know, show me tables upon tables of stacked textbooks that they get because they don't want to lose their funding from the state. Because if you don't buy it one year, next year you don't get the funding. So they said, let's buy those books, keep them in the classroom, and we create our own content. There's a lot of wisdom, a lot of knowledge, and a lot of work already done that we can provide. This project is made up, all the content that we've seeded this project with comes from teachers. We get them to write one chapter each, and we have a process through which we quality manage that content. So it's just like publishing, but now we're going to move on to, you know, letting them flex that material to their own level. So in the end, it's all about dynamic adjustment. You know, college students can do it on their own. They just go into the library, they look for this, they look for anywhere they can find content, they'll create it. K12 students don't have that ability. So we've got to you know, be able to adjust what they're learning online. It's all about that feedback loop. You know, we've been adopted in California, not adopted, I should say, recommended for high school science and math. I have to tell you, not in even my wildest dream did I ever think California was going to be the first state to do this. But we've broken that, and all our books are adoptable. I welcome all of you to go look and use these books. In fact, even I was told yesterday that the federal technology plan is out. And Flexbooks is particularly mentioned in that plan. So I'm thrilled that people are moving away from the textbook and moving into more flexible content and dynamic content, where you can do all kind of, you know, needs met requirement in time teaching. Guess what? It's all free. We're not charging anything. My husband and I are very committed to doing this. So not only am I putting my own time to make this happen, we're actually not charging any, and this is our commitment that we'll never charge anything for anyone. You know, I'm glad you guys clapped. I'll tell you why. Because it is a huge battle to change mindsets. And that's what it's all about. It is about mindset. It's too hard. I can't do it. I have 30 kids to teach. How am I going to, is it quality controlled? Is it, am I going to lose my money? These things just stop people from trying to use it. I welcome anyone who wants to see it to go see our website. We've tried to make it as simple, and I'd like your help to make this more simple. So if you use it and find anything that needs to be adjusted, let me know so we can help make this as usable as we possibly can. This is what we want in the end. It's not just about technology. Technology is a tool. Folks, we just want them to be engaged, involved, and experiencing education. Thank you very much.